is Quentin at The Ultimate Car Guy, and this is my 1991 Honda Accord LX sedan. Today I'm going to show you 5 things that I like and 5 things that I dislike about this car, and what you can really get for some good money with this car, and some things you really need to check out whenever you're buying this car. Like, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. Now let's get started with the engine. This car uses a 2.2 liter inline 4-cylinder engine that made 125 horsepower. Now it might not be a lot compared to what cars make today, but you gotta realize this car weighs 2,800 pounds. That is much less than a Ford Focus. Like, this car weighs less than a Ford Focus. Now there's one thing that I really notice about this car whenever I'm driving it around the city. That everyone is bigger than me. Even sports cars are bigger than me. The new Honda Civic is still bigger than me. Like, this car is a really small car. Now, I really like this engine. It sounds good. It is easy to work on. It is really good looking, actually. Now, I painted the valve cover myself. I also got these performance wires and some copper spark plugs. Now, this thing really is easy to work on and stuff. I really like this. In my opinion, the Hondas of the late 80s and early 90s are the best looking Hondas to date, and it continues to my vehicle. It has a boxy shape with a little bit of curvature in the design, and I really enjoy that. Now that that's all over, I'm going to go take this thing for a drive, and I'm going to tell you 5 things and 5 things that I like about this car and dislike about it. Alright, now let's get into the drive. Now, the one thing I really like about these 90s cars is how the seat belts actually go up for you. This was actually required by all car manufacturers to do it. This thing starts nice. It's a really nice car. I really like it. This car is fairly maneuverable too for its small size too. Now, one thing about these Hondas is that they really have good gas mileage. Gas is one thing you never really have to worry about in this car. I can fill this car up with about $20. It'll last me 2 weeks, if I'm not driving like an idiot. Now, driving like an idiot in this car is really fun though. It is. This thing is so light and so maneuverable that you can just toss it around. And then it has some really good seat bolstering too. So I'm always held in place. Like, I really enjoy this. And that's one thing that really surprised me about this car. This thing is really nimble. And how it has seat bolsterings too. It's really easy to drive. If you're looking for a first car, this is really a perfect car. It's easy to work on, it's cheap, and it's really small, so you don't even have to worry about anything. But listen to that engine. It's such a nice engine just to rev out. And it's this loud, and I'm only at like 3,000 RPMs. Now, this is the 4-speed automatic. Now, if you really want an enthusiast version of this car, get the 5-speed manual. The 5-speed really gets up. Regular Car Reviews did a review on a 1994 Accord. It uses nearly this same engine. It comes with the 5-speed, and he loved this car. He said that it was the most fun car he's ever reviewed. Now, I can really take his word for it, because this is a fun car. I really enjoy this thing. Now, 5 things I really dislike about this car is that you're smaller than everyone else. So you can really see that if you get in a crash, you're probably going to be in a disadvantage. Now, if you drive really good, you probably don't have to worry about it, but you do still have to worry about idiots on the road. Another thing I don't like about this car is the smell. When I first got this car, it smelled extremely weird. I don't know if that's about all Honda Accords of this year, but it had a really distinct smell. I got used to it now. It kind of went away a little bit. That's one thing that really weirded me out about this car at first. Now, the problem with this car was that when I first got it, it was a complete mess. If you guys watch this channel for a while, you know that this thing was a complete mess. Another thing I don't like about this car, this will be number 3, is so, you know how small this car is, right? So it's really hard to actually see. The visibility isn't really the best with this car, because it's so small. So many bigger cars will be blocking your way. There'll be a bunch of bigger cars blocking your way, so you can't even see anything. And that's really scary to think about, actually. Now, I hate SUVs. I'm not gonna lie, I hate them. This car is a really easy car to drive, and SUVs are a little bit hard. And the last thing that I really dislike about this car is that the engine, it starts to run rough after it actually gets warm. I don't know if it's because the oil was leaking inside the spark plugs when I first got it. I changed everything out. I should be doing an oil change today, actually. And hopefully it makes the car run a little bit smoother now. This car is quite stealthy, actually. No one really notices this car. The one big good thing about Hondas is that they last for a long time. I don't know which one lasts longer, Hondas or Toyotas. Because these cars can easily get up to 200,000 miles and still run good. These are some really fun back roads, actually. Now this is a Mazda MX-5. It's not as maneuverable as that. The Mazda MX-5 will be my next car, probably. It's going to be either that or a Porsche. What the fuck? Okay. I don't know if you can see that guy, but he just did a random, he didn't even do a 3-point turn. What the fuck is wrong with him? We get some really weird people in this city. This thing's easy to drive, it's maneuverable. It turns like a dime. You really feel safe in this car. Now, one thing that was wrong about this car is that the air conditioning doesn't work. So I have to be out in the heat whenever I have to be out in the heat whenever I close my windows. And the windows are closed for this rear. But it's really one thing I love about this car. It's so small, it's easy to hide. No one really would expect you. Like, imagine putting a LS in this thing. That thing will kill everyone and no one will even know about it. Like, it's so smooth whenever it actually drives. It's relatively quiet too whenever it drives. Now, normally when it's at lower revs and I'm going at lower speed, it's easily going to be loud. Like, this is a loud engine. It really is a loud engine. Alright guys, I'm done showing you guys how this thing drives. Now I'm going to tell you guys about what to look out for whenever you're buying one of these. Now, there are a couple of problems that you have to look for whenever you're thinking about buying a CB7 Accord. First thing you have to look out for is a bad valve cover gasket. These things will leak oil everywhere. And it seems that they go bad a lot on these CB7s. When I first got mine, it was bad. It was leaking oil everywhere. I made a video of me actually replacing it. Another thing you also have to worry about is the timing chain or the timing belt, whichever one it has. Now, these tend to go bad at least after 90,000 miles. If you don't get these changed out, you might as well say goodbye to your engine. Because once that timing chain fails, you're done. You are done. Luckily, I was able to get mine replaced. Whoever owned this car before, they had replaced it already. So, I'm pretty happy about that. So, I'm really happy about that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys within the next 3 days.